Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Hello my friends, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with another part of Clown Cable's commission. I know it's been a while, but there's just sometimes when inspiration doesn't strike and, I'm an artist. I can't just do things willy-nilly. I need to have a proper plan before I can finish something. Anyway, this is going to be the OC version of Knuckles' grandma. So, if anybody wants to start bringing out old Archie lore to tell us all what Knuckles' grandma was actually like, I already know that, but this is not part of any official canon. It is Clown Cable's OC version of Knuckles' grandma, which is like, basically just a wrinkly Knuckles wearing an old lady dress. So, that's what this is. But first, I just wanted to quickly bring up a couple of things that aren't really enough for their own video. First up, the last little part of Sparkle 404's commission. It was a Dr. Eggman head. This is based off of a 3D model that was provided for me, and I scaled it to fit onto the body of a Dr. Robotnik figure that she's making in the proper scale to fit a figure of the appropriate size. I think the figure is going to be like 6 or 7 inches tall. I don't remember. But doesn't Dr. Eggman look a lot like Gru when he doesn't have his mustache? I mean, mustacheless Dr. Eggman is so cursed. He looks just like Gru. Of course, the fact that he doesn't have his little shades was not intended. It just appears that the shades weren't picked up because they were too thin for my printer to pick up, so I had to sculpt those on, as well as, covering up any scars in the molding. And once I had the head fully prepared, I just had to make a mustache out of craft foam. Now, the mustache has to be made out of a soft, flexible material at this scale because if I tried to print that mustache, even if it did come out, I'm almost certain that it would have been torn apart by its own support medium, and even if I did manage to get it off, it would be very fragile with how thin it would have had to be. Speaking of more 3D printed parts, this is for an anonymous commissioner. He just wanted the parts to make Surge, Kit, and Dr. Starline. If you're wondering why Surge and Kit don't have hands, it's because they don't have hands in my... Like, when I made my customs of them, I did not use 3D printed hands. I used the hands from the figures themselves, so, you can... That's how it works. It's shoes and heads. And as for Starline, he has his head and shoes and the glove, his hypno gauntlet thing. You may be wondering why there's so many of them. That's because I could not get the stupid thing to print. Every one of those things has some kind of flaw to it. In fact, the whole Starline project is technically botched. Like, every single piece of it just, it seems to have weak points and printing scars that I couldn't get rid of. So, I didn't even charge them for the Starline parts. I'm just sending them over because I don't want to look at them anymore. But, if they want to see if they can refine them and make them something workable, then all power to you. Speaking of this, I'm probably not going to do this anymore. My 3D printer, it's getting up there in age, and the prints that it makes just don't really look that good anymore. So, I really have to do a lot of refining and sculpting whenever I make parts to make sure that they, are usable and presentable, which is all well and good when I'm making the custom and I can work on it from beginning to end, but trying to prep a piece for someone else that they'd be able to work with, it's way too much of a hassle, because, I need to know, how they're going to be able to handle it, and are they going to be able to sculpt this part, or should I fix it, and it's just way too much of a headache for me, so I'm just not going to do this anymore. I'm sorry, there's plenty of people in Etsy that have high-fidelity resin printers that can make much better-looking 3D printed parts than I can. Maybe I'll update my printer relatively soon. Another part in it broke, which means that I can't even make new parts right now. Don't worry, after Thanksgiving it will be fixed, because it's a very simple part. It's not like a switch this time. But yeah, like that's just the story going on with the 3D printer and how I'm not going to be making kit parts for people anymore. It's too much of a headache for me. I'm sorry about that. Now let's get to actually making the custom. The base figure is the same 2.5-inch Knuckles figure that I used to make Knuckles' grandpa. Of course, this one has to be made into a lady. And this is what stalled the project for the longest time, because I was wondering what would I use to make the old lady dress. Like, I thought, trying to make a cone of fabric, craft foam, nothing ever really seemed right. It would either get in the way, or I wouldn't be able to make it look good at this scale. And then while looking through my my old figure parts to see if I could find a metal Sonic head, that's a completely different story, don't worry about it, I came across this dress that apparently came off of an Equestria Girls DJ Pone 3 figure. I don't like the official name. I always like to call her Vinyl Scratch, so I'm going to call her Vinyl Scratch. And I found that with a little tiny bit of widening to make it fit on the hips of the Knuckles figure, it would actually be perfect for making the dress. So I took Knuckles' torso and sculpted on the, the collar and the brooch that Grandma wears, and then sculpted on I put the dress on and then sculpted around it to smooth around to make it look like one piece with a belt. And you can also see that I fixed the shoes. I cut off the Lego brick and then painted them purple to look like the shoes from the reference. This way the figure can still stand its original feet, but it looks more like Grandma's thing. And then I actually did a little bit of modification to the head. I didn't want the middle dreads to clip into the dress and scratch the paint off, because they would totally do that. So I cut the middle dreads short, in a pattern that would more or less match the flow of the dress. I also painted on the wrinkles and made a little pair of glasses. I had to use cardstock for these because I didn't have a convenient pair of Hank Hill glasses again. And that is Knuckles' grandma. I also did the modification to the right arm so that it's not bent a complete 90 degrees. You can see a little stress mark on the plastic where I straightened the plastic out. Maybe I'll use a little dot of red paint to cover that up now that I think about it. But yeah, that is Knuckles' grandma, the OC version of Grandma, which is not canon to any continuity aside from Clown Cable's own fan fictions. So yeah, I know this took a really long time, Clown Cable. I do apologize for that, but here are the grandparents of Knuckles for your little web series or whatever you plan on doing with them. So, thank you for your patience, and thank everyone else for watching. This is Wake Angel 2001, signing off.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic the Hedgehog. Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001. Because between you and me, they're way past cool.